Hello everyone and welcome to the Money Man. Now this is actually a subscriber request which I'm very happy to fulfill today because I've got some incredible banknotes for you today. What I've actually got is a full set of currently circulating Guernsey Pounds, and then I've also got numerous commemorative banknotes that I'm also going to show you all in this one video. So I might not go into perhaps as much detail as I normally do when looking at the imagery of each banknote, because there is a lot to cover in this video. But strap yourself in, this is going to be a long one and it's going to be full of information, so I hope you enjoy this one. So what I'll do, I'll start off with the lowest denominations, which are actually two £1 notes, and they are both commemorative banknotes, and I'll show you them right here. And this is the first one. Now, this banknote is quite unusual because it's very different to all the other banknotes in the series. The design is very unique, and I think it's really beautiful because the colour palette is actually quite basic, but it still works really well. And you can see that the banknote is just laced with all these nice symbols and images that really represent Guernsey's unique heritage. Now, Guernsey is in the English Channel, and it's one of the Channel Islands, but it's actually closer to France than it is closer to England, okay? And basically the reason why Guernsey and Jersey are part of the United Kingdom is because they're basically a hangover from the Norman conquests. So when the Normans invaded England and established their rule, Guernsey and Jersey came with that conquest, and they've remained pretty much part of the United Kingdom, as semi-autonomous dependencies ever since, and therefore they do produce their own currency. Obviously for Guernsey we've got the Guernsey Pound, and for Jersey we've got the Jersey Pound. But yeah, and an interesting thing in Guernsey as well is that not only do they speak English as an official language, but they also have sort of like Guernsey French, which is basically a derivative of Norman French. And again, that speaks to its cultural and historical connections with the Normans of northern France. So yeah, really fascinating part of the world, and I would highly recommend you go there if you get the chance. Now, that's just a little bit of Guernsey history in a nutshell. Let's get down to the banknote. So like I said, this one is a commemorative £1 note, and you can see that actually we've got the three lions representing Guernsey right here, and these are also the three lions of England, which are represented in the royal standard, the royal flag, which you will see flying over Buckingham Palace whenever the Queen is in residence. And you can see we've got a beautiful sort of representation of a medieval town square right here with some lovely buildings in the background. It looks like some kind of fair or market. And the interesting thing about Guernsey is that it's very much established as a trade port, and the law in Guernsey actually derives from Norman trade law, which is quite interesting. So again, that speaks to the importance of Guernsey as a trade hub between England and France in historical times. And I think that's represented well in this banknote. You can see the beautiful floral designs that move throughout the banknote, which give you a real flavour of, grandeur, and it's just very nice, very English. Spin it around and look at the back. Now you can see that on the reverse, this is actually celebrating this gentleman on the back, Daniel Delarue, Bailiff of Guernsey, 1762 to 1842. Now I'm not sure of his significance. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail because there's a lot to get through here. This is a wonderful banknote, and you can see that here we've got the Royal Court at St. Peter Port. Really nice. What I love about Guernsey and Jersey banknotes is, they're almost like, even though it's not mainland England, a lot of the architecture and designs represented in them are a representation of England's glorious past, and I really like that. You can see here that we've got the sort of sigil of Guernsey right there, and the denomination represented just in the top right and down in the bottom left as well. So really nice banknote. So that's the first one. Okay, the next one is pretty much the same, but you'll see there are some small subtle differences. Now this is another commemorative £1 note, but you can see this one has got a prefix TDLR. I'll explain the significance of that in a moment, but you can see the front of the banknote is pretty much the same as the other one. But if we spin it around and look at the reverse, you can see that this one is celebrating the legendary Thomas Delarue. Now, Thomas Delarue, obviously, was well, he did many things actually, but he's most well known for the Thomas Delarue Corporation, which prints banknotes, which unfortunately is falling on bad times at the moment, and hopefully it recovers itself because it's a very historic institution. So, Thomas Delarue, think about it. If you look at the prefix, TDLR, Thomas Delarue. Okay, so that's why you got the special prefix for that one. So that is another commemorative banknote that was produced in Guernsey. Now, let's move on to the generally circulating banknotes. You have to remember that in Guernsey, although they do use their own currency, Bank of England banknotes are also legal tender. However, the reverse is not true. You cannot use these in England or in other parts of the Union. So, this is the £5 note, and it is absolutely glorious. I love the depiction of QE2 on the front. You can see a depiction of her in her younger years, and it's just one of the best. A lot of countries that have Queen Elizabeth II on their banknotes usually go for a more contemporary image that represents the Queen, you know, her age, as they are printing the banknote. If you look in the background, you can see, if I just twist the camera up, you know, Jersey is a good example at the back there. You can see QE2 looking a little bit older. However, if you look at these Guernsey ones, they use a younger portrait of the Queen, which I think is really, really interesting. You can see we've got the, again, 3 lions represented just there, and we've got our serial number down on the left-hand side and on the bottom. And you can also see that we've actually got a nod to Jersey's maritime importance. And sorry, I just said Jersey, I meant Guernsey. You know, Channel Islands, they roll off the tongue too easily. And the watermark is actually Queen Elizabeth II as well, which is the same throughout all the banknotes in this series. If we spin it around and look at the back, I love the reverse. Now, the colours are really, really nice. And we've got Hanoi Lighthouse, which was built in 1862 apparently. So yeah, really, really nice. And Fort Grey, which is obviously, you know, a fortification on the island, making up part of the island's defences. So really, really nice. And I love this beautiful flower right here. Great detail. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. So the next one is the Guernsey £10 note. And here it is. And this one is interesting for a number of reasons. First of all, I would note the serial number. Now you can see that this is considered a low serial number, which does actually increase its value. So if you get hold of these low numbers, you know, that's always a good thing, because it does push their value up a little bit. And you can see that one thing that I forgot to point out is Delarue. You can see that these are printed by Thomas Delarue. So yeah, very nice. You can see again we've got another yacht here that is a nod to Guernsey's maritime history and traditions. And you can see we've got Elizabeth College representing education right here. And I really love the colour scheme of this banknote. The floral patterns of the banknote change and are radically different between the different denominations, and the complexity of them is impressive, and the colours really work together. There's great harmony in the colour palette in these banknotes. Let's spin around and look at the back. Again, beautiful, beautiful banknotes. And you see what I mean? It's kind of old England, you know, the architecture and the history, and I just love it. Really, really nice. Now, there is a watermill in this one, and there is actually a park represented, and Samara's Park, I think that says, but again, apologies if I butchered the pronunciation, I do not speak Norman. But yeah, and the watermark again, like I said, is QE2. You can see her just poking out there, Queen Elizabeth II. Okay, now let's have a look at the next one, which is a £20 note, and it starts to get a little bit complicated from here, so do bear with me. So here's the 20, and I absolutely love the colour scheme of these £20 banknotes. They are really, really special. Now again, we've got the theme of maritime commerce or shipping or whatever just in the corner represented, and you can see the serial number is quite nice. Would have been better if they were all solid, but I'll take that nonetheless. And you can see that the colours work really, really nicely. We've got St James's Concert Hall right here, so again, speaking to tradition and culture in Guernsey. And spin it around, look at the back. I really like this as well. Colour scheme is very nice. So we've got St Sampson's Church, which again looks like an old Norman church to me. The design appears to be very, very Norman. So again, a historical building represented in this banknote, and another nod to Guernsey's maritime heritage. Now, we've got some more £20 notes, Guernsey £20 notes, but these are commemoratives, which were issued quite recently. First one I'm going to show you is from the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II, and you can see it does look pretty much similar to the regular circulating banknote. However, there are some small subtle differences. You can see that we've got the special prefix of QE, Queen Elizabeth, and 60, which is the number of years that she has been the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom of Northern Ireland. Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Okay, so sorry, I'm stumbling my words now. So you can see that this one is actually a low serial number as well, which is really, really nice. Fantastic serial number there, and yeah, pretty good. Would have been amazing if you got 60 down at the bottom here. That would have been really special. Now, one of the extra things that you can see that they've added, you can see it says at the top, on the occasion of the Diamond Jubilee of Her Majesty the Queen. Okay, so this is a commemorative banknote celebrating her Diamond Jubilee. And we've got this nice little reflective flower right here that is basically sort of blooming out of the banknote. Really, really nice. Very nice. And then if we spin it around and look at the back, it's pretty much the same on the reverse. So it's only the front of the banknote that has seen those minor additions, but really, really nice. I love it. And one of the key things to note as well is that instead of the 3 lions here, you've actually got ER, which is for Queen Elizabeth, and then Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee. And then you've got the years of her reign up until 2012, when the Diamond Jubilee was celebrated. So a fitting banknote to celebrate a magnificent woman. So yeah, let's move on. Now the next ones are particularly special to me, as I am a great enthusiast concerning the First World War, and I have relatives who sadly died in that war, fought for the freedom of our country. So yeah, this is a special £20 note which was introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Great War, the end of the First World War. And you can see again, we've got another low serial number right here, so I've done pretty well on these. 206, not too bad. And you can see we've got TGW, the Great War. Okay, so we've got our special prefix right there, and you can see at the top we've got the Great War, 1914 to 1918. 100 years commemoration. Okay, and you can see there's a whistle here. Now these whistles were carried by the officers, and they would blow them when they were making an attempt on the enemy trenches. So when a big attack was staged, all the soldiers would run up to the front trench and they would wait, and the officers would blow their whistles and everybody would get over the top and charge at the enemy positions. And some of the more notable battles, you know, which were utter disasters. You know, one of the famous sounds that is remembered is the whistles, and then the men shouting as they charged over the top, and then just the horrendous machine gun fire that came after, that, you know, led to the senseless slaughter of so many young men in that war. So yeah, it's interesting that they've gone with that symbolism right there. And then if you look here, we've got this beautiful reflective strip, which is a poppy, which is the symbol of war commemoration. And you can see it's got 100 years, and it's got the dates, 1918 to 2018, so celebrating the centenary of the end of the war. And the poppy is used to represent basically the commemoration of war, because after the battles, the first things to actually regrow in the absolutely destroyed land were actually the red poppy flowers. So that's why the poppy is used as a symbol of commemoration for all wars now in the Western world, but particularly the First World War. Again, you've got St James's Concert Hall, so you can see pretty much all the other aspects of the banknote are the same, but you've got this beautiful wreath of poppies going all the way around the three-line sigil here. So there's some really nice small touches that make this banknote unique. If we spin it around and look at the back, you can see it's pretty much the same apart from this addition here. So they've changed the flowers to poppies, which I think is another really nice addition. So yeah, very special banknote this. As soon as they announced its release, you know, I ordered them as soon as I could, and I'm very, very happy to have these in my collection. They're very, very important banknotes to me. Okay, so let's get down to the last one. Now, the last one is actually the highest denomination, which is the 50 Guernsey pound note, and here it is. Now, you can see I sent this off to PMG, and it was graded at 67 EPQ, which is really good. Superb gem circulated. Really, really happy with the grading on this. You can't really ask for any better. Okay, you might get 68, 69, or even 70, which will be a star note. Very, very rare that you get star notes. Extremely rare. So 67 is what you're looking for, especially with the EPQ. So the value of this is obviously much higher than the, you know, what I got it for, which was face value. And you can see we've got a beautiful Royal Navy ship here, with the Royal Ensign, the Naval Ensign flying from the reverse of the ship. So that's really nice. Again, a nod to Guernsey's military importance to the Royal Navy. And you can see that there's just so many wonderful patterns going through this banknote. At the bottom, we've got the Royal Courthouse, which you can see right here. And yeah, you can see here on the side, it doesn't just say Delarue. It says Thomas Delarue Company Limited. So there's a bit more elaboration in the detail of the note. If we spin it around and look at the back, oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Really fantastic banknote. Now, I'm not really sure what is going on here. I just know it's probably important, okay, because we've got a script here, and then we've got an old statue, and we've got another beautiful Norman church. You can tell by the architectural style that this is probably a Norman church, which is some of the oldest churches that we have around in England, and also obviously on Guernsey as well. And you can see that the denomination is represented in the two corners, and this is actually St Andrew's Church. Again, another fantastic frigate or something like that there. Another nod to Britain's, you know, past naval glory, naval dominance, and obviously Guernsey would have been an important part of that, guarding the English Channel. So yeah, so that is everything I have for you today. What do you think about these banknotes? I think these are some of the best that you can collect in terms of British banknotes, as in you know, in terms of pounds. Really, really, really nice. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe my channel. And you know, I've got much more coming up soon. I'll have a fantastic video coming up on Gibraltar pounds in the very near future. So thank you so much for watching this video. Hope to see you guys on the next one. It's the Money Man signing out for now. Bye bye.